What's up, goodies? Welcome back to your girl channel and to my kitchen, How to Cook. And today we are making pot roast in 30 minutes. If it is your first time here, welcome. And if you are returning back to my channel, welcome back. Make sure you have your post notification on. Subscribe if you haven't. And for all I'm returning goodies, when you don't know, send me love and I'm ready to cook. Let's cook.
Look what prayer can do. Hypocrite and bad mind must flow. The same amount what cheer for you, and the same one them would turn round and boo. Yeah. Prayer me I use and win. Prayer me I use and win.
Okay, goodies, let's cook. So we have our fresh pork picnic ham here that we are going to, of course, wash nice and clean with salt, lemon, and vinegar. Okay, now we're going to use chili powder, paprika, red pepper, black pepper, onion and garlic powder, steak season, slap your mama honey, and some dried parsley and salt. We're also going to add some browning to it. Okay, but let's just get right into cleaning this piece of meat. Now you want to be sure that your sink is nice and clean. Okay, and we are going to in fact clean up that sink when we are done cleaning our meat. Now the first thing you want to do here, and I want you guys to follow this step very closely. Now what I'm doing here, I'm going to go ahead and remove the meat from the plastic, right, like I'm doing right here. So then I'm going to turn the meat downward. Where the fat part is, you're going to release the skin slightly on all four corners. Now you're going to ask, oh, why should I do that for? We are going to simply allow the seasoning to soak through the meat, okay, because we want the meat for our flavor on the inside. So starting first, release the four corners of the meat, and then you're going to slice going across like this, okay. And you're only going to do this where the skin part of the meat is, the fatty part of the meat is, because that's where the flavor is, honey. That is flavor. Now you want to go ahead and turn it in the opposite direction and slice it now going across just like you did before. So what you're going to have is some triangular shapes. Perfect. That is what you need to have happen, because that is where the seasons are going to go through. And this is the trick to the recipe. Massive amount of flavor. Now after you have accomplished that, it is time for you to wash your meat. Yes, goodie. Now we're going to get our lemon here. Then you're going to add your vinegar. I'm just using white vinegar here. You could use whatever. And salt to release that extra yucky business. Now go ahead and get your lemon and be very happy rubbing up this lemon on the meat, because you want the meat to start right here from cooking process. Flavor galore, honey. You don't want to cook dirty meat, okay? We wash our meats and chickens and anything, fish and all them something there. You wash them nice and clean good. You don't care who set good enough to clean the meat, okay? Now on the cold running water, you're going to go ahead and just have that cold running water rush on that meat, okay, and clean it off. And then again you're going to go in with the lemon and rub it all the way through into the meat. Let's just say we're giving this piece of meat a nice bath, right? Just like that. Now as you can see, I'm not wasting my lemon, so I'm going to go ahead and kind of flip it open so I could get the common pulps and get the rinds from the skin, because those rinds, honey, is flavor, okay, flavor. Just like if you're gonna make lemon pepper chicken, yes, flavor, honey, from that lemon. So go ahead and just be aggressive, yes, boo, but not with me, okay? And go ahead and just clean up your meat. Now when we are done here, you want to get a clean paper towel or towel cloth, whatever you want to use. Just make sure it's nice and clean, and you're going to go ahead and remove the liquid, the water from the meat. You don't want to season the meat with all that excess amount of water laying around, right? Now after you have done doing that, you get your knife and you poke holes in it. Just jam it up. It doesn't have to be in any special order or form. You jam it up Okay, on that side, you flip it over and you jam it up on this side as well. And again, we are talking flavor. You want to make sure that these seasons that we're going to put on this meat soaks right through and through. So every time you're cutting on this bad boy, it's not about deliciousness, okay? Follow the steps, goodie. Follow the steps. Alright, so that look proper. So now we're going to go ahead and season. So we're just going to use just a tad bit of seasonings of salt. Let's just say salt. A tad bit of salt because I don't want it to be overly corny, right? You're going to try to slow down on salt too. So just go a little bit on the salt. Then we're going to go in with the black pepper. But be sure when you add your salt, right? And all the seasons that you put, you season aggressively, honey. Aggressively on this meat. I'm not even going to measure anything here. We're just going to pour the seasons on this because it's better to be over seasoned more than under seasoned, honey, when you're cooking something like this. Okay? So you go ahead and you just sprinkle on your black pepper. And then we're going to go in with the onion powder. And just drizzle all over your meat, okay? Just go ahead and just put it on there. Make sure they get it into the skin part because remember we talked about flavor in the skins, boo. All right, now for some of you I already know that you're saying, but when I like pork, go ahead and use beef. The same thing you're doing here with the pork, you go ahead and you do the same thing with your meat, your steak, whatever. Do it. Filet mignon, do it, honey. All right, so now we're going to add our garlic powder. And for some of you, you already know that's been following me for a while. I like to cook with more garlic powder than I do onion powder. So here you see I'm just going ahead and just be really generous with my onion powder bowl, okay? And garlic powder. Oh, yes. All right, so I'm using this Ocho season here, and you know how I feel about Ocho, okay? They have this steak and beef stew season that I love so much, goodie, right? That's all. So we'll go ahead and just be generous once again using this. Now, if you do not have this in your kitchen, do not panic, boo. Go ahead and use whatever other seasonings. You could use all-purpose season, beef season, any kind of season, okay? That you want to use. You could always substitute this out for the Ocho brand. Now, I'm using the Slap Your Mama season because everybody else tells me I must try it. So I'm trying this season today. One thing I could tell you about Slap Your Mama season that I don't like, y'all, it has a tendency to be filled with salt, okay? So be very careful when you are cooking with this season, all right? It does have flavor to the meat. However, it is a bit salty. So if you have blood pressure and something there, be very careful how you using this season. I'm just saying, honey. I'm just saying. Alright, so up next we are using our chili powder. And the chili powder, I'm not going to go too heavy on the chili powder. Because I don't want to lose its flavor and I don't want it to have that fake pepper taste. So we're just going to go mellow with the chili powder, okay? Now we're going to do the paprika. The paprika is necessary because it's going to give it the color what you need for your meat. And I'm not being stingy with my paprika, honey. May I be generous with my paprika? Yes. So go ahead and just sprinkle along, honey. Sprinkle along. Now, this is where the little tangy, spicy kind of a flavor comes through. Now, if you guys don't want to use this dried pepper flakes here, use Scotch bonnet bowl. But in my kitchen, I'm afraid of pepper. So, I'm not going to even mess with that Scotch bonnet pepper there today. We are going to go ahead and sprinkle a little bit of that dried pepper flakes on. It's going to work just fine. And I'm going to add some dried parsley. Right? I prefer if you guys use dried parsley. Please go ahead and use dried parsley here. Do not use fresh parsley for the recipe thus far. use dried parsley and sprinkle some of that along. You don't have to be too generous with that, but sprinkle some parsley on it. And then for color, we're going to use some browning, just a tad bit. And you could always substitute out this browning for soy sauce. But again, be careful how you're using salt, and slap your mama, because honey, salty meat now work in the kitchen today. Now, last but not least, I am going to add some sesame seed oil here. Of course, you could always substitute that out. Use extra virgin olive oil, use avocado oil, corn oil, and oil. Just go ahead and use the oil of your choice on your meat, and just go ahead and just massage. Listen, when I say massage, I mean massage the daylight saving time out of the meat, okay? Massage the meat all the way through. Just rub it into those little cracks that you made. Just rub it in, work it in, massage it in, just like I'm doing here. Exercise for the finger there, because God knows me need it. Go ahead and work your magic. When you are done, because you are handling meat, you go ahead and wash your hands, wash up your sink nice and clean. Use the all-purpose cleaner, bleach, whatever you want to do. Make sure just nice and clean, okay? All right, so next up we are going to get our onions ready. I'm going to be adding onions here, y'all, and fresh garlic. Or if you don't have the fresh garlic, use chopped garlic, but I'm definitely going to be adding carrots to it. That's all we're adding here. Now, as far as my onions are concerned, I'm using pretty much a nice size, decent onion. The more onion for the recipe, goodie, is the better the thing will come out, right? So I'm using 2 onions here, and as you can see, I'm not dicing these onions, I'm slicing these onions. Okay, let's go ahead and slice your onions up, because you are definitely going to be needing it for the recipe for sure. And make sure that you stick around, because if you are still watching me cooking thus far, you must like what you see. Okay, so if you like what you see, go ahead and thumbs up the video, thumbs up the recipe, because girlfriend need to get motivated, right? So go ahead and show some love simply by thumbs up the videos to me. I appreciate the love. Now I'm using 4 to 5 cloves of garlic here. I'm gonna just go ahead and just chop them up. We're not gonna mince them up, just chop them up, because they are going into the cooker. And I'm using some fresh ginger. If you don't have fresh ginger, hey, why not substitute for some powdered one, okay? So just go ahead and just chop up your ginger, not fine either, because once it hits that pot, flavors are going to be released, honey. And then we are using 3, I say medium size carrots, yeah. So we're going to clean them clean them up real nice, and we're slicing them into chunks. And of course, you could always substitute out the way that I slice mine compared to yours. Do it how you like it, right? Because at the end of the day, boo, your kitchen are your kitchen, and my kitchen are my kitchen. Now, to get started with our onions, we want to go ahead and saute these onions and stuff. We're going to put this thing on P9. That means saute, okay? And hit start. Then you want to go in and put in some butter. I'm using unsalted butter here, okay? To be exact, I'm using 6 tablespoons of butter. I added all my vegetables that I cut up here in the pot, all right? And we are going to allow it to do magic, releasing flavor. While it's going on, releasing this flavor, in my pan here, we are going to give this a nice little stir thing, sear type of a thing. So we go ahead and add some oil, maybe about 2 tablespoons of oil, and place your meat in that baby at a medium heat. Do not put it on high heat, because it's going to burn too fast. So you want to do on medium heat. After about every 5 minutes or so, you rotate the meat. We're not cooking the meat here, we are doing the outer skin a favor, okay? A favor we are doing it. We're talking about color, honey. You see that? Color, right? Not cooking. Color we're doing here. So just go ahead and turn it around. And if you notice that my pan is not burnt, because I have my stove at a medium heat. Now go ahead and remove your meat out, and in that pan we're going to get some flavors here to put in the pot, right? So I went ahead and used some chicken stock here, and maybe about a cup or so. Cup and a half. And then I added some bay leaves to it, and then I added about 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, and then I added maybe about a teaspoon of vinegar, yeah, and then I added 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. I didn't mix it in a container. I decided to pour it directly into the mixture. Now don't worry if you see lumps, that's fine, because you're going to put it into the pressure, okay? So it is going to dissolve and do what it needs to do, right? We don't want it to be thick because we're not make anything stewed here. We just want this thing to have a little bit of texturizer before you put it into the meat with the other things, then, right? So next up, look at that. That is perfect. That is what we want to have done. But before you add your meat in here, you are going to go ahead and turn the pot off. Turn off your cooker off before you add the meat in. But be sure that your vegetables look pretty much like that, right? Now see, I did my sear for only 14 minutes. Remember we had 30 minutes? 14 minutes is all it took. Now you want to go ahead and place the meat on top of those vegetables and pour the sauce that you just made on top of your meat, honey. Okay, good. Follow the steps. Now you're going to go in with some barbecue sauce and any other sauce that you want to substitute for. You could always go ahead and do that, but I like the barbecue sauce. Now on top of your barbecue sauce, add some fresh thyme, okay, and lock up this bad boy. Now after you close it, you want to hit start and go up to number 5 and hit start, okay. When you are done after that 30 minutes, boo, you are all done. The thing is cooked to perfection, nice and tender, and filled with nothing but good delicious flavor, okay? Because the flavor will serve in the kitchen, right, goodie? All you have to do is pour it on your serving tray here, just like so, and pour all your vegetables, and that is what you have. Look at the outer skin. Remember I told you guys that we were not cooking on the sear, we were just looking for color. That is why it is critical in the pan, boo, before you pop it in here, okay? Now for some of you may say I don't have that particular Farberware. You could also do this recipe in your slow cooker, okay? And if you're doing it in your slow cooker, it does take about 2 hours to get tenderized. Alright, based on how tough your meat is, maybe more, okay? But honey, that is what we have. The gravy is amazing. Everything looks fabulous here. Served up with white rice, served up with pasta, served up with rice and peas, served up on mashed potatoes, whatever it is that you like. You could have whatever you like, anything you like, boo, okay? You see how tender, look at how tender this thing is. This thing is tender, let me tell you, tender. And not only is it tender, after 30 minutes of cooking, it is filled with all that good flavor from the ginger, from the garlic, from the onions, boo. Let me tell you something, you better try this recipe. But while you decide to try this recipe, make sure say you are spreading this love with everybody. When we say everybody, they mean everybody. The man up the street, the girl along the road, the friend next door across the street. Tell them what I want. Bring them, come and send them, come, I'm waiting. When you get done doing all of that, tell me where you want to see me cook next in my kitchen. And remember, as always, from my kitchen to your kitchen, enjoy.